What is up guys, it's Solheim here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video for you. So Wrath of the Lich King Classic has finally been confirmed, and it's coming out sometime this year. The exact date is not yet specified, but they have said it's coming out this year. They have also said that Wrath Classic will be launching with a couple of changes compared to OG Wrath, one of which caused quite an uproar in the community, and in my honest opinion, quite rightfully so as well. That change is the fact that they will not be adding the Dungeon Finder in Classic Wrath, and just to make this video as complete as possible, let's run that clip real quick.
Now let's talk about some changes. So one thing we looked at is Dungeon Finder, and it feels like how we envision Classic, Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for our community.
That was kind of the first step that may have eroded some of that social fabric. Now, as people have gone through the experience of going back to vanilla, rebuilding those groups, relying on each other, not wanting necessarily a random participant just to show up and then leave.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But today, you can do that in Shadowlands. You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight. It's a self-selected group of people who specifically want that different experience.
Yes.
Let's make sure that's what we continue to give them.
After this announcement, I've made a couple of posts about this looking for feedback, and the vast majority of people, at least within my community, seems to think that not having the Dungeon Finder is a ridiculously dumb idea, and it seems like people want them to revert this change, and to be honest, I'm in that same category. On one hand, I get the main argument for excluding the Dungeon Finder, which is the social aspect, but let's be realistic here. The social aspect went out the window a long time ago when it comes to creating groups. 90% of people use add-ons like LFG Bulletin Board to find groups, in which case they usually even have a copy-paste message they send to the leaders of the group that they are looking for, like for example, Warlock Full Raid Gear LFG. In TBC Classic right now, you are pretty much refreshing that LFG Bulletin Board add-on and aggressively waiting for a group to pop up for the dungeon that you want to do, while also AFKing in Chatwrath. For Wrath Classic, the Dungeon Finder would make it so you could queue up for a dungeon, and instead of having to aggressively keep an eye out for a group that you can join, you click one button, you queue up, and then you go outside and do dailies or farm things while you're in the queue. You can actually play the game while you're looking for a group, which is really difficult to do right now in TBC, because you want to be the first one to whisper whenever a group pops up in the board. I completely understand the social part or the social aspect part of the argument, but the social aspect is almost completely vanished in my opinion, especially for creating dungeons. The social aspect itself takes place inside the dungeon itself, and having the Dungeon Finder available does not take away any of that social aspect, especially if they keep it specific to your server, so there's no cross-server Dungeon Finder. If they did not care about the monetary reasons behind it, which we will talk about in a second, there's so many other things they could have done here. For example, they could have had the Dungeon Finder only available while leveling up, or up until level 70, so you could not use it in Wrath or for Wrath content. That way people could still use it while leveling up, and if the Dungeon Finder teleporting you to the dungeon is the big issue, which it seems like it is for a lot of people, they could simply have disabled that function as well, making the Dungeon Finder everything it already is, but disabling the teleport function. And if cross-realm Dungeon Finder is the big problem, that can easily be disabled as well, and making it interact only with people on your own server, which supports the social aspect once again. Now let's talk about something interesting. Why did Blizzard remove the Dungeon Finder entirely, instead of making any of the adjustments that I just mentioned? See, they want to camouflage this by saying that they are listening to the player feedback, and they feel like the Dungeon Finder is not representative of what Classic WoW is supposed to feel like. But is that really their main reason? Hell nah! That is a Class A sales marketing trick, playing on your emotions to rationalize their decision, and even making people market their decision for them, because by appealing to the people who did not want the Dungeon Finder, a vocal minority of those people will now fight Blizzard's fight for them, and it's a massive PR move that Blizzard did not have to pay anything for. Blizzard are introducing a level 70 boost for Wrath Classic, and we also already have a level 58 boost. You can also create a Death Knight without leveling other characters to level 55, so you can instantly start a Death Knight on a brand new survey or a brand new account. Well, with that level 70 boost and without a dungeon finder available, if you are a brand new player just starting out, or even if you're just a current player deciding you want to level up an alt, it is in Blizzard's best interest to make the leveling experience as bad as possible to sell more boosts. And say what you will, but in literally every single case possible, the Dungeon Finder does make leveling a better experience, so by not introducing the Dungeon Finder, they are literally purposefully worsening the leveling experience in order to hopefully sell more boosts. I even started playing a brand new character on Firemaw, which is supposed to be the highest population server in Europe and the world actually, and when I say the level 1 to 58 content is dead AF, I mean that. So I would love to say that this is not Blizzard's primary goal of excluding the Dungeon Finder, that is not the monetary reasons behind it, but let's be real here, it is Blizzard we are talking about after all. If they wanted to keep the integrity of Classic WoW as clean as possible, they would not have introduced the level boosts either, so at the end of the day, it's all about the monetary gain. And right now, I get it, this is pretty much all my opinions so far, but I have also said that a lot of people have said they are not happy with Blizzard's decision about removing the Dungeon Finder, so here are a couple of comments that I've received on my channel about that. Now for anyone who's saying if you don't like it, don't play it, or even better, if you want the Dungeon Finder, go play retail, please fuck as far off as possible, take a 180 turn and keep walking and don't turn back. First of all, if you think the only difference between retail and classic is the Dungeon Finder, you are absolutely blind and it's not even worth arguing with you. And the if you don't like it, don't play it argument is the worst argument I have ever heard in my entire life, because I'm allowed to like the game itself yet disagree with the direction Blizzard is taking it in, and some of their decisions. I am allowed to give voice to my opinion on the matter, and give Blizzard the feedback that I think will make the game better. Most content creators' goals have always been to help improve the game itself and help players that are playing the game. The if you don't like it, don't play it argument is directly against our core values. I have absolutely hated many of the new systems that Blizzard have put into retail, yet I still play it because there's a lot of things that I love in the game itself, and I've used my platform to at least try and give feedback on what I like and what I don't like, and the fact is that personally I think not having the Dungeon Finder in Classic Wrath is a terrible decision. You know what's not a terrible decision though? Checking out my Wrath of the Lich King Classic Gold Guide, which you can find a link to in the video description, which contains all of my gold making secrets, including gold farms and investments for Wrath Classic, and by using the code SWALHEIM, you can also get it for 50% off. Once you purchase the guide, you will also receive all of the future updates for free, so you're always up to date with the best gold making information available. So yeah, that is pretty much it guys. I just wanted to rant a little bit about the removal of the Dungeon Finder. Let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Wrath content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.